Hello everyone, Turner Burner here with another video for you guys. I am going to go over some advanced strategies if you are wanting to solo the line. This could also help you, if it helps you solo, it obviously can help you with your three-person game. But the thing about a three-person game is since you have three people, obviously to help kill enemies, it's not really critical that you have the best RNG per se, the best collection of enemies. But when you pick certain classes, sometimes it's critical that you have as many things as possible going in your favor. Just for backstory, to date I've done the line with six different classes. It was like eight, I think, according to this video. It says 8 months ago was the first time it was ever soloed when I did it as Keegan. This is actually my second favorite solo, second to the channel trailer. But long story short, I was trying to figure out different things and not so long ago, things that after I did more of the line solos, figured out why that one was so successful eventually. But to date, I've done it with Tactician, the line Marksman, Protector, Demo, Blade Master, and Veteran. So six different classes, and four of those solos specifically, maybe even five, were geared towards having a certain spawn at certain areas, and I would like to help you guys in case you've never soloed this map before, or if you don't understand the spawns in the line. So let's get right into the video. All right. So I'm at a point in the video where I just killed three scions necessary to move to the next area. So in this area, okay, so first tip is when you go up these stairs, certain spawns, and I don't know if this is a glitch or not, I really don't know. But my guess is that when you don't have enemies here, that may be because you have more Buzzkill Scions in the map. But I really have no idea as far as this is concerned. But if you one tip to help you solo the map easier is going up these stairs when you're, testing different spawn type enemies, and making sure that there aren't three Scions here. There are classes that Marksman, Blade Master. There's a class that I haven't done it, but you can cheese it by just avoiding a section and running past it. But just from my perspective, if you have a Marksman or Blade Master, that class can headshot these three Scions easily and efficiently. But even then, as Marksman, you're wasting ammo that you could have used later on, depending on the context. So, in my estimation, the first tip is to make sure that there's not three enemies here. If there's three enemies here, just reload the map. You have the benefit of this particular hive of not having Iron Man, so once you get the spawn, you'll have it, forever. So first tip, make sure, it's simple as that. Make sure there aren't three enemies here when you're testing different spawns. Okay, next tip, same solo, and you guys can also reference other the line solos to confirm what I'm saying. But it serves no real value if I just keep showing the exact same thing that I did in multiple videos. But you can go back to Veteran, you can go back to Marksman, Protector. The same concept is utilized in all those videos, or the same RNG type. So, but long story short, the second tip is, so after I kill this Iceon, that's not really the focal point of this video, but when I go around the corner, I need to make sure that there are two Buzzkill Scions. And this is important later. So I go around the corner to the right, there's got to be two Buzzkill Scions. So once I point out the first one, so there's the one, and then there's the one on the right that's coming up. Okay, you see the one on the right coming up? You almost destroyed me there. But anyway, so when there's two Buzzkill Scions in that area, that means at the very end of the game, there are going to be three Buzzkill Scions, that how to explain this? There's going to be 3 Buzzkill Scions that spawn when the doors are closing, and they will not come outside. This is important specifically because if you have any other, given the same context where you come up the stairs, there's no enemies, and you have a different combination. Let's say you have, like in my demolitions video, I had 2 ice scions. At the helipad, I had 3 Mulcher Scions spawn when the doors are closing. Now, using intuition, what is better? 3 Mulcher Scions, 3 freezing, fast-paced Mulcher Scions that will definitely make the pad, or 3 Buzzkill Scions that won't make the pad. 3 healing Buzzkill Scions that won't make the pad. So I'll let you decide what is the better combination between those 3. I always choose the 3 Buzzkill Scions that won't make the pad, mainly because this video allowed me to see that, Buzzkill Scions don't do it. They don't come out to the pad. But long story short, having those 2 Buzzkill Scions right there means at the very end of the game, the 3 Buzzkill Scions that spawn will be your enemies to deal with, and they won't be a problem because you just have to stay outside and not get hit. All right, I got one more tip that's connected to the helipad portion of the line. The last tip in this video may be a little bit more on the complicated end when it comes down to understanding how to solo the line. But I'm going to try to simplify it as best as I can. So, as you know, there's 2 scions that spawn in the helipad, and then there's no way around it. You have to kill those enemies. There's no way to necessarily avoid them per se. But after that, there is, how to explain this? There is 5 more scions you have to deal with. You have a choice of dealing with them, all 5 scions together, or dealing with the first 2, then dealing with the next 3. Pretty much always choose to deal with all 5 scions together. Because it's important to understand that for some reason, when the spawns, so there's a tile spawn, and then there's a venom trigger when the doors start closing. So the tile spawn, you kind of can see the little doorway before the helipad. That's the tile spawn, and when I actually get there, I'll point it out. That's a tile spawn that spawns 2 ice scions in this RNG. The door closing spawn spawns 3 Buzzkill Scions. So if you're inside, and this is the strategy I use for multiple solo runs to deal with all 5 Scions. If you are inside and the doors are closing, it'll trigger the Buzzkill Scions first, and then it'll trigger the enemies that should have been there via the tile spawn. So theoretically, every time I do this, the Buzzkill Scions always get in front of the ice scions, which slows them down to get to the door. And once the door reaches a certain point, none of the enemies make it outside, none of the enemies go outside, at least in this particular spawn type. The exceptions are if you are outside and they're charging you. So I hope I explained that as best as I can, but I'll show visual examples, 3 of them, to reinforce what I'm trying to say. So, okay. This is, if you haven't seen this solo, this is one of my favorites. Go back, Keegan on the line solo. First time it was ever done, just some very intense moments, but obviously this is back when Keegan had 50% bleed. Not that, it matters a whole lot because the Venom Explosive Resupply is way better than this video, but side tangent. So yeah, go check out that video if you haven't already. But, okay, I'm at a point where the doors are going to start closing. I actually don't remember when the doors start closing. I guess I'll find out in this video. But once the doors start closing, I throw a flash because I think, okay, it starts closing at 9:55. So, as you can see, there's 2 Buzzkill Scions. I actually don't even see the ice scions that spawn. Like I specifically said earlier, once those doors start closing, the the outdoor, like if you were outside pulling the lever, those enemies spawn first. I don't know why that is, but it's almost like if they spawn in reverse. The enemies that spawn when you pull the lever spawn first, and then when you cross this tile that's just to my right, then they spawn. It's very odd. I don't know why it's like that, but it works out in your favor every time. So what's key about that is when you are, and I'll go back a second. When you're inside, and I use this strategy for Protector and Veteran. When you are inside, and then when you're inside when the doors are closing, this works better than pulling the lever outside. Specifically because if you go outside to pull a lever, you will spawn the 2 ice scions and they will make it outside with you. And you'll have 2 ice scions to deal with, and there's no Buzzkill Scions to, protect you. And even in some cases, in that context, sometimes the Buzzkill Scions even make it outside. So you have to be inside when the doors are closing for this to work. So I found this out incidentally in this video. So I was inside, the doors are closing, then I go outside. See, but I'm trying to kill these guys in this video because I don't even realize that they don't make it. So you see the 2 ice scions that are invisible? They're going to rush the door, but then they're just going to stop. Once the door reaches a certain closing, the enemies they don't even try to come out for some reason. I don't know why it's like that, but that's just how this map has always been for as long as I can remember it. So that is my first example on, being, inside, letting the doors close, then coming outside. So I'm going to show 2 more examples of that. Okay, here is my Protector solo. I think I did this about a month ago at this point. Using the similar concepts that I know. And the funny part about some of these solos is you might see, me doing a map with different classes, and it may feel like, oh, you're seeing something different because you may see something done as Blade Master, then you see it done as Tactician, or then Anchor. It may feel different, but the concepts are the same. The abilities are different, but the concepts are the same. The concepts will always trump the abilities because the concept can be carried over through different classes, the abilities cannot. So the concepts will always trump over abilities, and that'll allow you to, get some sort of understanding of how you can do multiple classes on one map, and you don't have to restrict yourself to only the strongest class on one map. Understanding concepts will help you more. So, again, if you have just a side tangent in this video, if you have questions on anything I said or if I said something incorrectly, comment below. But, okay, so on Protector, I'm inside, and then I'm going to go outside intentionally. See, I was far more efficient than I was in my Keegan run. So I'm like kind of waiting at the door right now. I guess the time that the doors close at 9:55. You look at the top left, which means I was in the map for 10:55 because of the Venom Bomb. But anyway, so 9:55 is when the doors close. That's another tip I'll put in the description. So I wait inside, wait till the Buzzkill Scions get a little bit too close to me, pop my ultimate, then I go outside. And I don't even try to fight them because I know they're not going to make the pad. So the towel I'm talking about, you'll see here in a second. So waiting inside. So I guess it's a little bit before 9:55. And you'll see it's going to be Buzzkill Scion and Ice, but Buzzkill Scions come out first. Pop my ult. So that tile that I just crossed, if I do that before the doors are closing, the 2 Ice Scions are going to be in front of the Buzzkill Scions. The 2 Ice Scions will spawn first, and they are going to be a big problem for me, especially as Protector and most classes. So it's best that you wait before that tile, then run past it when the doors are closing. So as you can see, or as you can remember, the 3 Buzzkill Scions don't make the pad. And I'm a little bit more intentional about knowing that. I'm not even trying to fight them, really. I just wait until the door's closed. So that is the second video I use, or the second, or one of the other times I use a strategy of keeping not having to kill 5 scions. Protector doesn't have the health, and typically characters don't have the ammo to deal with 5 scions at once. Typically, the exception would be demolitions because he can use his ultimate on all of them, and the exceptions probably Foz as well because he can kill most of the scions, if not all, in one headshot. So those are the exceptions, but not the rule. Even Lonnie's ultimate's not going to take care of all those scions at once. So it's best bet to do some sort of strategy of this nature. I'll show this one more time, just to kind of hammer it home. The solo I did as veteran. Okay, last example, but certainly not least. So remember, there's a lot of things before this moment have to be true. So there's you go up the stairs, there's no enemies. Then you go to the right, there's got to be 2 Buzzkill Scions for this to work. Okay, that's very important to understand that once you get the 2 Buzzkill Scions on the right, that means at the LZ you'll get the 2 Ice Scions and 3 Buzzkill Scions spawn. 2 Ice Scions and 3 Buzzkill Scions spawn, which means that you don't have to kill any of the 5 scions. So you get 5 scions for free. You just can't get hit, obviously. And I have my ultimate, just for fun, but even if I didn't, this is still an easy win. I think at this point of the map, you can win it with any class because you don't have to kill anything. But so I'm not going to cross the tile on the right. I'm going to wait until they spawn. I guess it's at 9:54. That was 55, but let's see. So I don't have captions on this one, so I guess it's 9:55. It's 9:54, 9:55. So long story short, 3 Buzzkill Scions, and I use my ultimate just because I have it, but it's really not going to kill anything because the gun I'm using and they're just going to keep healing each other. But Scion stops moving, this Scion stops moving, so that's pretty much it, guys. If you want to try to solo the line, um, these are the tips I think would be useful, or tips I wish I would have known before I try to solo the line. So, if you have any questions, comments, let me know. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and let me know how you do when you solo the line this week. Have a good one, guys.